Me, 38, VP of People Operations at tech startup in Boise, Idaho. Making $145,000 base plus 0.8% equity stake in the company. Company is called Velocity Software. We make project management SaaS platform. Mid-sized startup, 200 employees total. Raised $45 million in Series B funding last year. We're growing fast, 40% revenue growth annually, $28 million ARR currently. Company is valued at $180 million post-Series B. My equity worth about $1.4 million on paper. Hired 6 months ago to professionalize HR and people operations. Before me, company had one HR generalist handling everything. Founders wanted experienced VP to scale culture and operations for growth. Report directly to CEO, woman named Rachel Kim, 42, technical founder. She built the product, scaled to Series A, brought in professional management for B round. My background is 12 years in HR, mostly at larger tech companies. Worked at Salesforce, Adobe, built structured HR programs and compliance systems. Brought in to bring that enterprise discipline to startup environment. From day one, notice the culture here is very casual, almost too casual. Engineering department, especially, they run like college dorm room. Slack channels full of memes, inside jokes, casual language, lots of banter. Stand-up meetings include joking around, references to games, and pop culture. Office has ping-pong table, video game consoles, beer on tap in kitchen. Engineers work weird hours. Some come in at 11 a.m. Some work from home randomly. Very loose structure, very informal communication style. To me, this is unprofessional and potentially problematic. Create an environment where boundaries aren't clear, professionalism isn't valued. Could lead to harassment issues, discrimination claims, hostile workplace. My job is to professionalize this before company scales further. IT department is core of the company, 35 people total. 25 software engineers, 5 DevOps engineers, 3 QA engineers, 2 IT support. They're well paid. Engineers make $120,000 to $180,000 depending on seniority. Lead engineer is guy named Jake Morrison, 34, been here since founding. Makes $180,000 plus significant equity. He's essential to product development. Under him are senior engineers, mid-level engineers, junior engineers. Team is about 80% male, typical for engineering and tech. They're productive, ship features on time, maintain 99.7% uptime. But their culture is what I call bro culture or toxic tech culture. Lots of inside jokes, memes in Slack, casual banter that could be offensive. References to video games, movies, internet culture constantly. Some jokes that could be seen as sexist or inappropriate if taken out of context. Nothing overtly hostile, but environment that could make people uncomfortable. Especially women engineers, of which we only have 7 out of 35. 1 month into my role, I observe IT team interactions more closely. Slack channel called #EngineeringRandom is basically meme repository. Hundreds of messages per day, jokes about code, inside references, gaming memes. Some jokes reference your mom, some make fun of programming languages. Some use casual language that could be considered unprofessional. I see one meme that jokes about women in STEM in a way that seems questionable. Another joke references kitchen in context that could be sexist if read wrong. These are red flags to me, signs of culture that excludes or offends. Even if engineers think it's harmless fun, impact matters more than intent. February 14th, I propose new workplace conduct policy to CEO Rachel. We need to establish clearer boundaries around professional communication. The engineering team's culture is too casual, could create liability. What specific issues have been reported? Nothing formal yet, but the environment is problematic. I see jokes and language that could be considered hostile or harassing. Rachel is hesitant. She came up through engineering culture herself. The team is productive and collaborative. Culture seems fine to me, but it's not inclusive. Women might feel excluded or uncomfortable. Have any women engineers complained? Not yet, but we need to prevent issues before they happen. I convinced Rachel this is about risk mitigation and scaling properly. As we grow, we need professional standards that protect the company. She approves implementation of new conduct policy. February 20th, I announced new professional communication standards. Company-wide email and mandatory all-hands presentation. Policy bans several categories of workplace communication. Jokes or memes that reference gender, race, religion, or protected classes. Casual language that could be perceived as unprofessional or offensive. Inside jokes or references that exclude or marginalize team members. Any communication that creates uncomfortable environment for colleagues. Also implementing anonymous reporting system. Employees can report violations confidentially. HR will investigate all reports. Violations will result in progressive discipline. Warning, written warning, termination. Engineering team is sitting in all-hands meeting, faces are blank. Jake, the lead engineer, raises his hand after presentation. Can you give examples of what would violate this policy? Memes that use stereotypes, jokes about gender or appearance, crude language. What about jokes about programming languages or tech companies? Depends on context. If it could make someone uncomfortable, it's problematic. Who decides what makes someone uncomfortable? HR will evaluate each report based on reasonable person standard. Jake looks concerned, but doesn't argue further. Meeting ends. Engineers file out quietly. No more questions. Over next week, I monitor engineering Slack channels closely. The hashtag engineering random channel has gone almost completely silent. From hundreds of messages per day to maybe 10 to 15. Mostly just work-related questions, no jokes, no memes, no banter. This is exactly what I wanted, professional communication only. But something feels off. The energy is different. Stand-up meetings are terse. Engineers give updates and leave. No joking around, no casual conversation, just business. Office feels quieter, less collaborative somehow. March 1st, first anonymous report comes through the system. Someone reported engineer for sharing meme in Slack. Meme was joke about Stack Overflow being solution to all coding problems. Reporter claimed it created culture of not asking for help. I review the meme. Seems harmless to me, but report was filed. Calling the engineer, guy named Tom Chun, 29, mid-level developer. Tom, you received an anonymous report about meme you shared. Which meme? I barely post anything anymore. The Stack Overflow joke, someone found it discouraging. It's a common programming joke. Everyone uses Stack Overflow. Intent doesn't matter. If someone felt uncomfortable, that's what matters. I'm issuing verbal warning. Next violation will be written warning. Tom looks shocked. This is ridiculous. It was harmless joke. The policy is clear. We need professional communication standards. Tom leaves my office, visibly frustrated. March 5th, second report comes in, this one more concerning. Engineer shared meme making fun of Scrum Masters in Agile development. Reporter claimed it created hostile environment for project management team. I call on the engineer, woman named Sarah Liu, 31, senior developer. Sarah, you shared meme that was reported as creating hostile environment. It was joke about Agile methodology, not about actual people, but it could be perceived as disrespectful to our project managers. It's industry humor. Everyone makes fun of Scrum ceremonies. That doesn't make it appropriate for workplace communication. Sarah is getting defensive. This policy is killing team morale. People can't relax or have fun anymore. Everyone's walking on eggshells. Professional environment requires professional communication. We're not a social club, we're a workplace. Issue written warning to Sarah. It's her second violation. March 8th, Jake Morrison requests meeting with me and Rachel. He's the lead engineer. This is serious if he's escalating to CEO. We meet in conference room. Jake is prepared with notes. The communication policy is destroying team culture and productivity. Morale is terrible. People are afraid to communicate casually. Collaboration has decreased because people avoid spontaneous conversations. We're having fewer informal discussions that actually solve problems. Rachel asks for specifics. Jake provides data. Our Slack activity is down 68% in engineering channels. Team members report feeling anxious about saying the wrong thing. 2 engineers have told me they're considering leaving because of the environment. I push back on his characterization. They're adjusting to professional standards. That's normal growing pains. This isn't about professionalism. This is about fear. People are afraid to joke, to bond, to be human with each other, because any comment could be anonymously reported and lead to discipline. Jake continues. The anonymous reporting system is particularly toxic. People are reporting harmless jokes out of spite or misunderstanding. There's no context, no conversation, just anonymous accusations. This isn't creating safe environment. It's creating surveillance state. Rachel is listening carefully. She looks concerned. But I defend the policy. This is standard practice at major tech companies. We need these protections as we scale. This is how professional companies operate. Jake is frustrated. We're not a corporate enterprise. We're a startup. Our culture is our competitive advantage, and you're destroying it. Meeting ends without resolution. Rachel says she'll think about it. March 12th, another anonymous report. This one targets Jake himself. Someone reported him for using phrase guys when addressing team. Hey guys, quick question about the API endpoint. Reporter claimed gendered language creates exclusionary environment. I have to call on the lead engineer for using word guys. Jake, you've been reported for using gendered language. I said, hey guys in a message, it's common casual greeting. It's gendered language that could make non-male team members feel excluded. This is insane. Guys is gender neutral in modern usage. Not everyone agrees, and the policy requires inclusive language. Issue him verbal warning. He's livid. You're giving me a formal warning for saying, hey guys. I'm enforcing the policy consistently across all team members. Jake stands up. I've been here since day one, built this entire platform. I make $180,000 and have significant equity in this company. And you're warning me for saying guys in casual Slack message. This is absurd, and I'm not putting up with it. He walks out of my office without being dismissed. March 15th, Jake submits his resignation. 2 weeks notice, he's leaving the company. This is catastrophic. He's the technical lead, knows entire code base. Rachel calls emergency meeting with me. Jake is leaving because of your policies. He's essential to our engineering team. We can't lose him. He was insubordinate and resistant to necessary workplace standards. He was our lead engineer, and you gave him warning for saying guys. The policy applies to everyone, no exceptions for seniority. Rachel is torn. She sees both sides. Can we make any modifications to keep him? If we make exceptions for him, it undermines the entire policy. The policy might be undermining the entire engineering team. We don't resolve this. Jake's resignation stands. March 16th, domino effect begins. 3 senior engineers submit resignations, all citing cultural changes. All 3 have worked closely with Jake. All 3 are well compensated. These aren't junior engineers we can replace easily. These are senior people with institutional knowledge. March 17th, 5 more engineers resign. This is becoming mass exodus. 9 people in 3 days. Rachel calls all hands with engineering team to address the situation. I know there's been concern about recent policy changes. We value your feedback and we're listening to your concerns. One engineer, guy named David Park, 27, speaks up. Are you going to reverse the communication policy? We're evaluating all policies to ensure they serve the company. That's not an answer. Are you keeping it or not? I interject. The policy is necessary for workplace professionalism. David responds directly to me. Then I'm resigning too, effective immediately. He stands up and walks out of the all-hands meeting. 3 more engineers follow him out. That's 13 resignations in 4 days, over a third of engineering team. March 18th, crisis mode. Rachel and I meet with remaining engineers. Try to understand what will keep them from leaving. Remaining engineers are direct. They want policy eliminated. The anonymous reporting system needs to go. The restrictions on casual communication need to go. The culture of fear and surveillance needs to go. I argue that we can't eliminate important workplace protections. But Rachel overrides me. We're suspending the policy pending review. Too late. Damage is done. Engineers don't trust leadership anymore. March 19th, 8 more resignations come in. Total of 21 engineers gone in 1 week. Out of 35-person IT department, only 14 remain. And most of those are actively interviewing elsewhere. Product development has ground to complete halt. No one is shipping new features. Everyone is just trying to keep systems running. Customers are noticing feature requests are piling up unanswered. Support tickets are increasing because bugs aren't being fixed. March 22nd, major production incident. Critical bug in the platform causes data sync failures. Normally, Jake and his team would fix this in hours. But Jake is gone, senior engineers are gone, knowledge is gone. Remaining engineers are struggling to diagnose the issue. Takes 14 hours to fix what should have taken 2 hours. Customer complaints flood in. $2 million annual contract customer threatens to leave. March 25th, the customer leaves, cancels $2 million contract. Cites declining product quality and unresponsive support. This is direct result of engineering team collapse. Rachel calls board meeting to explain the situation. Board members are furious. How do we lose a third of engineering team in 2 weeks? Rachel explains the communication policy and subsequent resignations. Board member, VC partner named Robert Hayes, is direct. You implemented policy that destroyed team culture and drove out essential technical talent, including lead engineer. This is catastrophic for company's ability to execute. Another board member asks about replacement timeline. How long to hire and onboard 21 new engineers? Minimum 4 to 6 months to hire, another 3 to 6 months to fully onboard. That's a year of reduced capacity at critical growth phase. Board votes to eliminate the communication policy immediately. Also votes to put me on performance improvement plan. Need to demonstrate I can rebuild team and restore culture. April 2024, attempting to recruit replacement engineers. But word has spread in Boise tech community about what happened. Jake and other engineers have been vocal about why they left. VP of HR created toxic surveillance culture, disciplined people for harmless jokes, and saying guys, made workplace unbearable with anonymous reporting system. Recruiting is nearly impossible. Candidates ask about the mass resignation. I heard you lost most of your engineering team. What happened? Can't hide it. News is all over local tech Slack channels and Twitter. Engineers are turning down interviews, don't want to work in that environment. April 15th, 3 more engineers resigned from remaining team. Down to 11 engineers total, trying to support 200-person company. Platform stability is suffering, uptime drops to 94.2%. More customers are complaining. Some are evaluating competitors. May 2024, lost another $3. 5M in contracts due to product issues. Total revenue impact from engineering collapse, $5.5 million annually. Company annual recurring revenue drops from $28 million to $22.5 million. This is death spiral territory for venture-backed startup. June 2024, board meeting. I'm summoned to present recovery plan. Don't have good answers. Recruiting is still failing. Only hired 3 new engineers in 3 months, need 21 total. Board member Robert is direct. Ms. Morrison, your policy decisions cost us, our engineering team, and the resulting damage has cost us $5.5 million in annual revenue. The company's valuation has dropped by estimated $40 million. Your equity stake that was worth $1. 4M is now worth $800,000 because of the damage you caused. Another board member asks about path forward. Can you successfully recruit and rebuild the engineering team? Have to be honest, reputation damage makes recruiting very difficult. Engineers in Boise know what happened. Many won't interview. Then what do you propose we do? Don't have answer. Board votes to terminate my employment. Effective immediately for demonstrated poor judgment. That resulted in catastrophic damage to engineering team and company performance. Walkout that afternoon, 8 months at the company, ended in disaster. July 2024, I'm 39, unemployed, searching for VP of people roles. But news has spread beyond just Boise tech community. Tech news sites covered the story as cautionary tale. Startup loses entire engineering team after HR implements controversial policies. Articles detail the communication policy, mass resignations, customer losses. Quotes from engineers who left describing surveillance culture. My name is attached to all of it as the VP who implemented policies. Can't get interviews at any tech companies. Recruiters are direct. Your reputation in tech HR is severely damaged. The Velocity software situation is known industry-wide. Companies don't want to risk similar outcome. 6 months unemployed, burning through savings. Finally get offer, HR manager at non-tech company, $72,000 salary. From $145,000 VP of people to $72,000 manager. From tech startup equity to corporate insurance company. Complete career regression in 6 months. 1 year after termination, I'm 40, making $72,000 at insurance company. Velocity software continues to struggle with engineering. They've hired maybe 10 new engineers total in 12 months. Still operating with skeleton crew, product development has stalled. Lost more customers due to lack of innovation and ongoing stability issues. Company announces layoffs, cutting 30% of staff to extend runway. Valuation is down to estimated $80 million, down from $180 million peak. My equity stake forfeited when I was terminated. Would be worth $640,000 at current valuation, worth $0 because I was fired. Jake Morrison and the engineers who quit are all doing great. Most went to larger tech companies or other startups. Jake is now VP of engineering at well-funded startup in Seattle. Makes $250,000 plus significant equity, leading 50-person team. Several other engineers followed him to same company. They're building competitive product in same space as Velocity. 2 years after termination, see article in tech industry publication. The Velocity software collapse. How HR policies destroyed a startup. Deep dive into what happened. Interviews with former engineers. Quotes from Jake about the cultural impact. The policy wasn't about creating safe environment. It was about control and enforcement of one person's vision. We went from collaborative team that joked and bonded to surveilled workforce where everyone was afraid to be human. Article quotes other engineers who left. Anonymous reporting system created paranoia, not safety. People reported harmless jokes out of spite or misunderstanding. You couldn't have casual conversation without worrying about report. Rachel Kim, the CEO, is quoted about lessons learned. We should have listened to engineering teams' concerns earlier. The policy was well-intentioned but poorly executed. It destroyed trust and drove away our most valuable people. That mistake cost us years of progress and nearly destroyed the company. Article's conclusion is brutal assessment. Velocity's engineering exodus demonstrates risks of overcorrection. Workplace policies must balance inclusion with cultural fit. Heavy-handed enforcement can destroy collaboration it aims to protect. The company lost $5M in revenue and 21 engineers in 2 weeks. All because HR policies prioritize compliance over culture. Comments on article are ruthless toward me specifically. This is what happens when corporate HR tries to fix startup culture. She gave someone a warning for saying, guys, what did she expect? Engineers are in demand. They'll leave if you treat them like children. My name is permanently associated with this failure. The VP who destroyed a startup engineering team with HR policies. 3 years after termination, I'm 42, still HR manager, making $76,000. We'll never get back to VP level. Reputation is too damaged. Velocity Software was acquired at distressed valuation. Sold for $45 million to larger competitor, down from $180 million peak. Engineers who stayed got pennies on the dollar for equity. Employees laid off, product absorbed into acquirer's platform. Company that was growing 40% annually ended up sold for scraps. Because engineering team collapsed after my policies. Jake Morrison is now Chief Technology Officer at Unicorn Startup. Worth millions from equity at his new company. Built engineering culture known for being inclusive and collaborative. Proves you can have both without surveillance and fear. Meanwhile, I'm at insurance company making $76,000. Managing recruiting and benefits administration. No equity, no upside, no path to VP level again. Run into former Velocity employee at tech conference. She was product manager, left during the layoffs. How are you doing? She asks, being polite. Working in HR at insurance company, different industry now. That's good. Getting out of tech HR, probably wise. Awkward silence, then she speaks honestly. What happened at Velocity was really hard for all of us. So many good people lost their jobs because engineering collapsed. I'm sorry that happened. I was trying to create professional environment. You were trying to control culture that was working fine. The engineers weren't harassing anyone. They were collaborating and bonding. You mistook casual culture for toxicity and destroyed team chemistry trying to enforce corporate standards. She's exactly right. I misread the situation completely. Jake and the team weren't being toxic. They were being human. Sharing jokes and memes is how tech teams bond and communicate. You try to strip that away and they left, taking their skills, their knowledge, and the company's future with them. We part ways, her heading to sessions at conference. Me leaving early because I don't belong in tech anymore. 4 years after termination, I'm 43, still making $78,000. Velocity's collapse is cited in business schools as case study. How well-intentioned HR policies can destroy company culture. Used to teach about balance between professionalism and culture fit. About listening to employee feedback before implementing sweeping changes. About understanding context before enforcing rigid rules. I'm the example, the cautionary tale, the person who got it wrong. Still believe in workplace professionalism and inclusion. Still think harassment and discrimination should have zero tolerance. But understand now that casual jokes and memes aren't harassment. That saying guys isn't discrimination. That engineers bonding over shared humor isn't toxic culture. And that anonymous reporting without context creates paranoia, not safety. That's what I learned after destroying a company. After 21 engineers quit in 2 weeks because of my policies. After $5.5 million in revenue disappeared because product couldn't be maintained. After $100 million in company valuation evaporated. All because I tried to impose corporate HR standards on startup culture that was working fine without them. Now I'm here, 43, making $78,000 at insurance company. Former VP of People Operations who lost $1.4 million in equity. Who destroyed engineering team at growing startup. Who caused company collapse that ended in distressed acquisition. While engineers I drove away became CTOs and VPs at successful companies. All because I couldn't tell difference between toxic culture and casual culture. Between harassment and humor. Between professionalism and paranoia. That's my legacy in tech industry. The HR exec who banned jokes and destroyed engineering team. Who thought saying guys deserved formal warning. Who created surveillance state that drove talent away. And learned too late that culture matters more than compliance. That trust matters more than rules. That humans need to be human at work, even in professional environment. That's what cost me everything. My career, my equity, my reputation. While teaching entire tech industry what not to do in HR, through complete destruction of company that could have succeeded if I just left culture alone and trusted people to be professional without making them afraid to say, hey guys, or share a meme. That's the expensive lesson I learned at 38 and live with at 43 as permanent example of HR gone wrong.